There may be times when you create a CNC file that has a lot of geometry like this that your CNC file ends up being extremely large. For our Ikulu controller, we generally like to try to keep the CNC files under a megabyte. Something like this, you might get something that's 2, 3, 4 megabytes. So this video will show you how you can break something like this up into smaller chunks to make it more palatable for the controller. So if we just go ahead and make a CNC file for what we've got, just to see how large the file is. So it'll take a minute or so. Alright, let's take a look in File Explorer, see how big that is. So we got almost 3.4 megabytes. So let's go ahead and break this up. So first of all, we're just going to go ahead and I'm just going to select that all on X to explode. And what we're going to do here is make different colors in here so we can use those colors to select the geometries that we want for 3 or 4 different files that we're going to make. And to make selecting maybe a little bit easier, I'm just going to draw a line from, say, midpoint to midpoint, and another line from midpoint to midpoint. And then what I'm going to do is basically drag a box and go slightly beyond here and see what I end up grabbing. So we've got all these selected. And then we'll come down to the lower right hand corner here and click on the color button, and we'll just choose a random color. We'll go with yellow. And then we'll do something similar for these other ones here. So if I grab these ones, something like that. And we'll go with green for that. And for this next one, I'm intentionally going to try to miss a couple of these or deselect them just to show later in the process here how we'll end up getting those anyways. So if I end up, say, not selecting, say, those 3 as well as that one there, 4, and let's see, we'll make these ones light blue. And then we're going to leave the other ones as this white, so that way we'll be able to then capture these ones over here, any other ones that we might have missed. And now what I'll do is make 3 additional copies of this. So we can do our copy command or Shift C, select all that, hit enter, base point, I'll just left click and randomly put 3 more on here. Alright, now we can start creating some parts here. So we'll go to our Cam tab and create, prompting me select objects. We're going to start by selecting the ID and the OD on each of these so that IGEMS will know what's inside cuts versus outside cuts. And then to get those yellow geometries, we're going to right click on the mouse and choose Quick Filter. And Quick Filter, you can basically easily select entities or other things based on different properties, entity type, layer, color is what we're going to do here. So we got the color box checked and shows us the different colors that are in our drawing here. We're going to choose the yellow color and click OK, and then we're just going to drag a box around all this and hit enter. So it gives us a preview of what it's got here. Click OK. And then we'll do a similar thing for the green color. Go back to create, right click, quick filter, and we'll choose green instead. And OK, and we'll drag a box around this. Now in this case, I forgot to select the ID and the OD, And right now, since the quick filter is on, I can't select that because it's white and it's looking for green things. So if you ever get in this situation, you can disable the quick filter, right click again, go to quick filter, and then click on disable, and now you can freely select on anything else. Hit enter. Okay. And same thing for the blue. Create. This time I will choose the ID and the OD first, and then right click, quick filter, choose the blue. Okay, drag a box around it. Now you'll note we did not select these because they're white, but in the last step here we'll end up getting those. Hit enter. Okay, and then again create, choose ID and OD, right click, quick filter, choose the 7 color. Okay, drag a box around everything, and as you see now it's selected those, and okay. If you preferred, you could of course go back and change those to either the blue or the green and get those so they stay together, but for our purposes we'll just go with what we got here. So now we've got that. Now we can go ahead and add toolpaths, so contour button, and we got our different settings here. We're just going to do multi and select everything, hit enter. Okay, so on this first part we're going to delete the outside cut because we're not going to want to do that until the end. We can leave the ID, so it'll cut the ID and then cut all those. And then on this one we will delete the ID and the OD. We'll also delete ID and OD on this one, and on this one we'll just delete the ID, leaving the OD since that'll be the final cut. Hit enter. Got that, and now we can go ahead and set our 0, points. So it's very important when you are out of the machine cutting this that before you start the program that you save your start point, so in case anything ever happens you can get back to where you started these programs from. So we'll set our 0, points, do my order button, drag a box around everything, puts our 0, points on the corners of those sheets. Now to make it a little bit easier to make sure that you are going back to your same start point, there is the option under the order button to, so if I select that one, hit enter, do an end rapid here, and tell it, basically indicate at the end of the program here to come back to that corner of that sheet there, and then hit enter. There is also a setting under the process area where you can tell it to return to park position if you prefer doing it that way. I'll show you that here in a moment. So we'll do order button and end rapids, and then make sure you click right on the corner of that sheet. Close, modify this one, end rapids, and that. We'll leave the last one without that. Show you the park position thing. So now we've got that. Now we can go ahead and process. See how large these files are now. So for the park position, which we don't need on this one, but if you just wanted to make sure, just in case you didn't actually click right on the corner of the sheet, under the settings, under the various menu, you've got end with parking position. So you can set this to one of these 4 options here, and then at the end it's going to go back to your X0, Y0 position where you started the program. So 2 different ways of achieving that same goal there. So if we post this out, so you got the option there. If you want to make doubly sure that you go back to your start point, you can check that box. On this one it won't make much difference, but extra level of protection. So let's see, part 1. Okay, so now let's go see how large that file is. So now it's 847 KB instead, so that should be easily digestible by the controller. So if we look at, say, this one here where we didn't do the end rapid, I'll just do the preview. Don't have to necessarily make it. So check end with park position. And if we scroll down to the end after it finishes the cut, then it's going to G00, X0, Y0 goes to its parking position, which since at the beginning of the program we had G92, the X0, Y0, it's going to go back to where we started that program. So that's another way to get back there. So that is how you can break up large files. If you have any questions on that, let me know. Thanks.